to clarify my last video. I think it's very important to do that. Now, in Matthew 24, Jesus said, and he is the speaker, he says, I'm going to come back at an hour that you think not. Now, who exactly is he talking to? I can go as far as to say he's talking to the Jewish people. I can say he's talking to the church at the same time, those who are offsprings of Israel, those who come from the disciples, which turned into the apostles, which formulated the church. I can also say he's coming back to those who are unaware of what is happening. They're not on God's time schedule. Now, let me simplify the current time that we're in. It's called the Feast of Trumpets. Now, we have to kind of think about what the Bible says about this time period. Now, the Feast of Trumpets can be considered a mystery by itself. Paul said in 1 Corinthians 51:52, I show you a mystery. We should not all sleep, but we should be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump. Twinkle of an eye and at the last trump. Those are timed events. The twinkle of an eye is from one day to the next within seconds, just like our day from at 12 o'clock. It goes from one day to the next. 12:01 is the next day. Or you can think of New Year's Day or New Year's Eve going into New Year's Day. That makes it simplified. Okay. It's a timed event. In my recollection, it's the 6,000th year going into the 7,000th year. Okay. So, when people say, and they're going to say it on Friday, the Feast of Trumpets is over. They always do it. Feast of Trumpets is over. What they fail to realize, and they'll say it on their program, they'll say it on their show, they'll say it on their pulpit, whatever, they in front of their church or whatever. You cannot start the Feast of Trumpets unless you see the sighting of the new moon. Now, Israel's going to celebrate Feast of Trumpets regardless on the 2nd through the 4th. And I believe Netanyahu will not retaliate against Iran until after those days are up. But what is God looking at? Okay, God's still looking at the Jewish calendar. You know, people always say it's a month off and all this stuff. No, he's looking at the Jewish people. I think we kind of elevate ourselves over God when we think God is not looking at us, because any message to mankind is because of mankind. God has been here before mankind. Before Abraham was, I am. God was already here. I mean, we kind of make it look like God is subservient to us. So we say the calendar is off. No, God is going to go off somebody's calendar. He's going to go off of, it's his calendar, but he's still going to go off Israel's calendar so they'll know it was God. Just like when Jesus Christ came back the first time, God went off their calendar, and he went off his calendar as well. Now, with that being said, is this: I'm going to come back at an hour that you think not. Is he talking about the people who are watching? Hold on for a second, you guys. So is he coming back for a people that are watching? Is he? So the people, he says, I'm coming back at a time that you think not. Why? There's millions of reasons why we think not. Let's just look at us who are looking at the Feast of Trumpets. Why would we think not? And here's why. If it's this year. From the 2nd to the 4th on the calendar, it's the Feast of Trumpets. But from the 4th is when the sighting of the new moon to the 6th, or whenever the new moon is sighted, the 5th to the 7th, that's what God is observing. You say, well, wait a minute. You just said he's observing what Israel's doing. Technically, Israel's still doing it. They still should be observing when the moon sighted. The two witnesses go over to the Sanhedrin, say, "We just spotted the moon. You can start your blowing of the trumpets." Well, they're done blowing their trumpet because they're done blowing their trumpet because they observed it on the 2nd through the 4th. Well, the moon was not sighted until the 4th or the 5th. So they got to blow. Somebody is going to be blowing the trumpet at that time. I can guarantee you. Somebody in Israel, there's going to be a small remnant that's going to be still blowing the trumpet when the moon sighted. Hence, at an hour that you think not, the Son of Man will come. At a time that you think not, I will come upon you as a thief in the night. So, with that being said, you have to follow, if it's this year, you have to follow the sighting of the new moon, then 100 trumpet blasts are blown, regardless if it's blown for the both 100 per day or 100 through the course of 2 days. Okay? So, if it's 100 trumpets blown a day and there's a last trumpet on each day, then the rapture can happen on any of those days. But if it takes 2 days to blow 100 trumpets, well, the second day will be it. And then I was joking around about the Sunday morning rapture movie. You might get your chance to get that if it's this year. Now, if it doesn't happen, this is how it's just me. You can get mad at me. I think we got another year if it doesn't happen, unfortunately. But do I think it's going to happen? Yeah. I don't follow other people's stuff. I don't follow. I'm done doing that. The majority is wrong anyway. So when you see these YouTube videos, I know somebody just clicked off because they think the majority is right. The majority is mostly wrong. So when you see these people, these guys making YouTube videos because they don't want to pick nappy hair. They don't want to, make people mad by saying that this is it. Now, could I be wrong? Yeah, I could be wrong. But unfortunately, I believe we're going another year if it doesn't happen by at least Tuesday. Jeez. So I think when Netanyahu said we're about to retaliate, he's going to wait for Israel to get done on the 4th, which is technically is not really Feast of Trumpets because the moon's not been sighted. He's going to wait for them to get done with that. But they're still blowing trumpets. And matter of fact, the trumpet that they blow this Friday or Saturday is going to be the trumpet of war. Read Joel. Read the book of Joel. The book of Joel says, sound the alarm in my holy mountain. You're sounding the alarm for a war. You're also sounding the alarm for the dead to come out the ground and the living to come up. So if it's this weekend, do not drop your guards yet. And if somebody start coming up to you saying it's atonement, the atonement trumpet for the great trumpet has already sounded in 2023 to introduce the Jubilee year. And I have not seen anybody, and I'm not saying this pridefully, I'm saying it with a sad heart, who does not, I'm not the brightest person in the world. If I would have thought that, I'd be on here all the time. No, that's not the case, but 6,000 years of history has to end on a Jubilee year. Let me repeat. 6,000 years of history has to complete on a full Jubilee year. God told Noah that my spirit would not always strive with man, for his time would be 120 Jubilee cycles. A 50-year Jubilee cycle begins with a normal year, but it ends with a Jubilee year. 2023 was a Jubilee year. So, in other words, last September, October timeframe was the beginning of a Jubilee year. It was the beginning of the last Jubilee year. It was the beginning, it was the end of the 120th Jubilee cycle. So 1 year, the acceptable year of the Lord, will be a Jubilee year. So the trumpet was sound at the beginning of 2000, at the end of 2023, going into 24. So how do I know this? Because you go back 50 years ago, you'll see the Yom Kippur War, and they blew a trumpet then to establish the fact that that was a Jubilee year. So from 73 to 74 was a Jubilee year. And from 2023 to 2024 was a Jubilee year. So we're at year 6,000 going into year 7,000 in the next couple of hours from here. 72 hours, 42 hours, whatever it is. And I think people are not realizing that. They kind of like stuck on the premise. And I noticed the devil's at war with the time period. The devil ain't stupid. People keep saying, well, the devil's dumb. He doesn't know when Jesus. Yeah, he does. Why do you think he has the UFO stuff? Why do you think on last October 4th, he had that emergency siren thing go off where on our phones, and they were testing that stuff? Why do you think that was the case? The devil ain't stupid. He knows exactly when. Matter of fact, when they were at the UN, they probably signed some secret papers to come after Christians after this. Because the YouTube channels aren't saying, I'm not on the pride slump or something like that. I'm not on the pot on my soapbox where I'm thinking I'm right, but at the same time, I'm just saying to you that it's more important to kind of get a feel of what you believe in your heart that the Bible's saying rather than what everybody else is saying. I got in trouble with that before, where I believe what everybody else is saying was correct. And then again, YouTube likes to play around with the algorithms. They like to play around with the numbers. And Facebook used to just do this. Now YouTube's doing the same thing. I used to be able to get on YouTube. Well, not really. But you can get on YouTube, at least kind of believe the numbers that you're being showed. I've seen people like the video with 0 people in the chat room. So in the room. Anyway, God bless you guys, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. I might come back on for one more video. I'm not sure, but I think I might to talk about Israel and Iran. Well, God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. See y'all later.